I don't know if that means a view. There we go.
Okay, so good afternoon. I now call to order the meeting members of the Bureau of Job Development, business as the in-person development corporation for Mike.
Thank you.
The members have received materials in advance of this meeting. They are free to ask questions at any time. As noted on the agenda posted to the internet, you're welcome to comment on the items on the following agenda. To ensure maximum opportunity for participation, speakers representing themselves may speak for up to 2 minutes each, and those representing groups may speak for up to 4 minutes with one speaker per group. Speakers' comments may address only items considered in today's meeting. Before we begin with the substantive portion of the meeting, I'd like to ask the members whether anyone has any potential conflict of interest with respect to today's agenda item. So I ask any conflicts? I'll now ask Kathleen Mize to present an item relating to the appointment of independent accountants for the authority. Kathleen.
Thank you and good afternoon.
Thank you.
Excuse me, can I just ask a point? Don't we have to approve the minutes?
We're going to have the minutes at the next meeting. We just received the transcripts. So
Okay.
we'll have them by many times this week.
Okay, thank you.
I've not missed them.
Sorry.
No problem.
No problem at all. We are seeking authorization to appoint Tosky and Company PC due to a recent completion of a merger now known as EFPR Group LLP as JDA's independent accountants for audit and related services, and to enter into a contract for a term of 3 years with the option to extend for 2 one-year terms in the aggregate amount of $170,500, including a 10% contingency. As a component unit of the state of New York, JDA is required to conduct an annual independent audit of its combined financial statements. In anticipation of the end of the term of the current independent accountant's contract, an advertisement was placed in the New York State Contract Reporter, and a request for proposals was issued in August 2015. 5 qualified responses were received from the firms of Sachs Best, Lumsden and McCormick LLP, Marks Penneth, Grant Thornton, and Tosky and Company PC, JDA's current independent accountants. A review committee comprised of members of the finance, internal audit, and legal departments evaluated and ranked the proposals based on predetermined criteria included in the RFP as follows: experience with public entities, including JDA, qualifications of the partners and associates, demonstrated commitment of time and resources to public entities, number, complexity, and size of engagements handled by the respondent as audit firm for JDA or similar entities, and quality of proposal and demonstrated understanding of JDA. In addition, in-person interviews were conducted with each of the 5 respondents, in which each was afforded the opportunity for a brief presentation, which was followed by a question and answer period. The questions presented were the result of a collaborative effort by the review committee and sought to provide more detailed information about each firm and their ability to effectively and efficiently provide required audit and related services to JDA. The committee presented its recommendation to JDA's CEO and President, Howard Zemsky, and the Audit Committee, and with their concurrence recommend Tosky, EFPR as JDA's independent accountants for audit and related services. In addition to receiving a high overall ranking based on the predetermined criteria, the firm has experience with JDA and an understanding of the complexities of the organization, has professionally and successfully assisted JDA in the timely filing of independent audit reports to the Office of the State Comptroller, submitted a cost-effective bid, and has continually worked with JDA in responding to new financial standards and transactions, such as new GASB pronouncements that we have year in and year out. In addition, Tosky EFPR has utilized the services minority and women-owned businesses in each year of its previous contract at or greater than the level required, and has committed to at least a 30% participation for the new contract period. Based on the foregoing, we are requesting that the members authorize JDA to enter into a contract with Tosky EFPR for a 3-year term with the option to extend for 2 one-year periods in the aggregate amount of $170,500, inclusive of a 10% contingency. Thank you, and I'm happy to answer any questions anyone might have.
Any questions from the members?
Yeah, I just had two. One is, I thought when we had our discussion about this, that Tofsky and Company wasn't the lowest bidder this time, and on here they are.
They weren't the lowest bidder overall, if you include ESD and all its subsidiaries, but I extracted JDA's costs out of the overall proposal, and they were the lowest bidder for JDA by itself.
I see. And isn't their name changing?
Yes, EFPR Group.
EFPR
Yes.
is what it is.
Yes,
Okay.
I believe the materials reference that they're now known as
Quick question, I'm
EFPR.
sorry I didn't ask it earlier, but
Oh, that's
is it
okay.
assumed that the same partner will be on the entire engagement, or do they have like a rotating partner policy?
Yes,
For both?
they have a rotating partner policy. The current partner will stay on for the fiscal 16 and 17 audits, and then he will rotate off. And they've consistently done that over their tenure with us, always.
Good,
They've
good.
followed that, yes, very much so.
Right,
And their review partner changes as well.
right.
And the one last thing I just wanted to mention was that I would suggest that in the future you don't have a question about having done previous work for JDA, because they are always going to win then, because they're going to get a lot of points for that, and the other firms haven't. So I kind of, just makes me feel like it, slants it
Sure.
a bit. Not that we aren't happy with them, but just
Right.
to make it.
Fair enough,
Okay.
sure, absolutely.
Any other comments or questions from the board? Any comments from the public? Is there a motion to approve?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carried. Thank you. Ray, you've got the next several items.
Yes, sir.
actually.
Thank you, Howard. Good afternoon, board members. The staff is requesting authorization to increase the previously approved amounts of real estate and machinery and equipment loans with JDA to Empire Farmstead Brewery. In October 2014, the JDA board approved a $2.19 million real estate loan and a $1.3 million machinery and equipment loan for the benefit of Empire Farmstead Brewery. We attached the copy of the original loan memo in an effort to help you with that project. At this point, the owner has come back to us to request the authorization of an additional $450,000 in JDA funds, which will encompass 60% of an additional $750,000 needed to complete the project. And we have a budget below on the project. The additional funds are needed to cover additional construction work, including a full sprinkler system to comply with the local fire code, additional natural gas pipe infrastructure costs, and additional brewing equipment. We have ascertained that they need to have a water tank. The sprinkler system is needed because there's no way of getting water into that facility. So they have a water tank. That water tank, it will be a one-time cost in that they're going to put this water tank underground below the frost level. They're going to have a water pump in the facility. The inspections will come in and look at the water pump, inspect the water pump to make sure it works properly. Now, there is no need to replace the water once you fill it up unless there's a fire and you use up the water in the tank. So at this point, we see that to be a one-time expense only for the installation of the water tank.
So you don't see any ongoing costs related to any maintenance issues
No.
around having that system?
They just have to, because the good thing is that this is a state-of-the-art type of water sprinkler system. So this water pump, actually, it's what is going to be expected. As long as the water pump is working well, they're not going to have any issues. So it's just a matter of keeping the water pump. And the water pump is located in the facility.
Okay, so the most it would just be making sure that it's not freezing.
Exactly. And that's why they made sure they dug a hole deep enough below the frost line.
How
So
deep
we
is
have-
the frost line?
I
I'm
haven't the
curious.
fame, I'm born and raised in South Bronx,
Need
Emily,
enough
not sure about
New York?
that.
Yeah, I would think
It's
it's,
14 feet down.
really?
No.
They say it seems
That's good.
You can't, there's no place that's not the frost line in the dead of winter.
So even with the increased debt, the projected debt service coverage and loan to value are well within JDA guidelines. In fact, when the members approved the project back in 2014, the expectation was that the building would appraise at $3.5 million. A recent appraisal has put the building's value at $4.5 million. So the additional collateral, strength in the collateral, has made us feel very comfortable that we recommend that we go forward with their request.
Any questions?
This wasn't the one where the guarantee was changed.
That's next.
Okay. All right. No questions.
Ray, traditionally as a loan at this percentage of the project, where does that sort of fit into our sort of this?
Well, we look at, the statutes allow us to do up to 60% of total project costs if projects are located in defined distressed communities or companies in need of special assistance. Now, the statutes make specific reference to the agriculture industry as an industry that's needed of a special assistance. So the fact that they are deemed a company in the agriculture business, they then are fit for the extra assistance allowed by the 60% finance of JDA.
So they're allowed 60% by virtue of being in the agriculture business?
Yes.
Okay.
If
If they weren't in the agriculture business?
Then we probably, because Casanova is not a distressed community, you're probably at 40%.
Okay. Gotcha.
That also applies to minority women-owned businesses. If you're a minority women-owned business, you can get 60% no matter where you're located.
Okay. And remind me how long they've been in business?
5 years now, I think.
Okay.
I mean, what we found is that Dave he got started up in New York. He has a lot of state participation in this project, the Community Development Block Grant. He has tax breaks that are coming from everybody. His business continues to grow in the right manner.
Yeah.
And he's very good at what he does, so
Yep.
we feel confident about the business.
Yep. I met him actually this year up in Syracuse area. Okay. Anyone else have any questions?
Well, just one. When do you anticipate this being completed now?
June? May. I would say June. He says May, but we have June of this year, 2016.
Are we going to have a field trip to
That's up to Kathleen, you know. I don't write the checks. I don't write the checks.
Just a suggestion.
Considering the writing pads say do not remove, I wouldn't.
Right.
I know, right?
Okay, is there a motion to approve?
Motion.
Second, anywhere?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Any
Aye.
opposed? Great. Any opposed? Thank you. Ray?
Thank you. The next project is authorization to make a loan with a new change in security requirements. In March of 2015, the JDA board approved a $5.3 million machinery and equipment loan to Beats Factory, Inc. The loan was approved in no small part based on guarantees provided on a pro rata basis relative to the percentage of each company's respective ownership of Beats Factory. At that time, the ownership was set up that 40% of the company was owned by Ledestri Foods, 50% of the company was owned by G-Fresh, and 10% was owned by Mr. Andrew Schwartz. At this time, that has changed in that Andrew Schwartz apparently had difficulty coming up with the 10% equity needed to move forward as part of a managing partner of the business. So he is now just an outside consultant who's going to consult on the marketing of the Love Beats product.
Oh.
He's no longer involved with the management.
So they didn't have to buy him out of his
No,
shares
he
because
just-
he never bought them.
Exactly. So, right. So Ledestri puts in the additional 10%. So now they're at 50%, and the G's Group Holding Ltd. is also at 50%.
The G's is the group that is European based?
Yes, out of England.
Okay, but Ledestri,
Ledestri
sorry, is based
in the United States.
in the United
Been around
States.
since 1955.
Okay.
So at that point, the original approval was required that G's Group Holding provide a letter of credit to help us satisfy the issue of getting a guarantee.
Right.
When they went to look into the cost of letter of credit, they found the cost to be prohibitive. I mean, it came out to somewhere like $450,000 over the life of a 10-year loan, with the fees and the additional backup required to every day renew the letter of credit. So they were like, well, we don't think it's prudent for us to get this. Can we provide a full corporate guarantee, and can Ledestri Foods provide a full corporate guarantee? So we looked at the financials, we said, we'll look at this, and what we see is that Ledestri is a $30 million EBITDA company. G's Group Holding is a $16 million EBITDA company. Both companies are solid companies and financially strong. So we felt that we wanted to recommend to the board that we felt comfortable in the change of security requirement, allowing the letter of credit to be replaced by the full corporate guarantees of both Ledestri Foods and G's Group Holding.
I thought there was an issue with G's Group because it is a foreign corporation.
Well, there still is. I wouldn't want to mitigate that fact that we took that in consideration, but I think we mitigate that somewhat with Ledestri Foods. The fact that Ledestri is going to give us 100% corporate guarantee gives us a sense of comfort, although we still feel there's validity in G's Group's Holdings guarantee. It's just that if you have to sue someone and they are an overseas company, it's a little more cumbersome than just someone in the United States. But Ledestri is good for it, so.
Okay, so Ledestri is giving 100%,
100%,
and
right.
then G
Is 100% also. So we got two companies giving full corporate guarantees
To the total amount of the loan.
for the total amount of the loan. So
Are they, and they own it 50/50?
yes,
now,
yes.
so.
Now it's 50-50. Ledestri and G first.
Yeah, the most important thing to me is just to make sure the U.S.-based company is giving the 100% guarantee.
Oh, absolutely.
Because, you know,
That was one of the sticky points.
trying to get a foreign corporation to pay is not easy.
We basically, John and I had conversation with Ledestri Foods, and although we said New York State supports this project, we need your guarantee, and it won't go forward without your guarantee. So they took a day or two to get back to us, right, John? But they finally agreed to the guarantee.
Good.
Okay. Any other questions on this deal? Motion to approve?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Thank you. Ray?
The request for the members is approval for, the next request before the members is approval of a JDA loan in the amount of $1 million. The JDA loan will be used to take out a portion of a real estate loan to be provided by First Niagara Bank for the acquisition and construction of a facility located in Sanborn, New York, in Niagara County. The total cost of the real estate project is $3,033,500. The JDA loan will be secured by a second lien on the property located at Inducon Corporate Drive West, Sanborn, New York. Guarantors for the loan will be the Borderwork Logistics Inc., the WNY Gateway Center, Borderwork Logistics, and the personal guarantees of Dean and Brenda Wood. Currently, the company employs 10 full-time folks, and they plan to increase that to 75 full-time by 3 years after loan disbursement. Started in 2003, Borderworks Logistics has become one of Canada's fastest growing logistic companies. Borderwork is embarking on new ways to enhance its competitiveness. A new state-of-the-art distribution center to be built on 31 acres in Sanborn, New York is part of that growth strategy. Borderworks' current New York facility is at capacity, which has necessitated the requirement for new expansion. In addition to the warehousing and distribution needs, Borderworks will expand into light manufacturing and assembly in the new facility. Most of the future growth will be realized at this new location in Niagara County. We had the opportunity to go up to Niagara County. We met with the folks in Niagara County, look at the site. That area of Niagara County is in dire need for financial assistance, and this project is viewed as a potential good project for them insofar as the jobs they'll create. Now, Borderwork has identified and started to plan for the construction of a 50,000 square foot facility on 31 acres of vacant land in an industrial park in Sanborn. The facility will eventually become the corporate headquarters of the entire company. The total cost of the real estate project is $3,033,500. First Niagara, as mentioned before, has already committed to providing the construction financing and a $1.2 million in permanent financing for the facility. The borrower is providing $758,500 in equity, and is looking for JDA to provide the final $1 million in permanent financing to complete the project. I may add that this facility will be the first foreign trade zone facility in Niagara County, and as you know, a foreign trade zone will allow goods to enter the facility under a duty-free system, which is beneficial to both the Canadian company and the American company. Staff analysis has shown that based on the 1A rating, the company currently generates sufficient cash flow from operations to service all the projected debt, and staff believes that the company is fiscally strong. With the approval of the project, JDA will facilitate maintaining 10 manufacturing jobs in an area with limited job growth potential, as well as 75 new jobs over a 3-year period. Thank you.
Okay. Any questions for Ray?
Could you just explain again on the consolidated financial information? There was 1 year, as you said, was an outlier. I think it was 2013, and you explained why.
John?
Because their EBITDA went from 700,000 to 78.
Yeah, so I added in, after the JDA Finance Committee meeting, this question had also come up. And in order to address that a little bit further, I added in the 2012 comparison column. And you can see in 2012, the total net income, the consolidated, both the Canadian and the U.S. operations, was the total net income at the end of the day was $512,000. In 2013, the company made capital expenditures out of cash flow produced by the company in that fiscal year. They bought transportation products, including trailers and I believe 2 semi-trucks, which have a different name in Canada, which I learned when I was doing this. But I think they call them highway something trucks.
Highway homes.
So in that's what accounts for the drop in the net income for 2013. As you can see, back to 2014, the financials get back on track, and 2015 as well for the fiscal year. So 2013 then looks like an outlier year.
So, and the current assets jumped so much because that includes what they capital expenditures were for?
Correct.
How, where is their headquarters now?
In Sanborn, New York.
No, the current headquarters is actually in Ontario,
Canada.
So they're moving from Ontario?
Well, they have a small location there now. And yes, they have a small location there now. I'm a little embarrassed to say that I went there. I thought I was going over the Peace Bridge, so I was so excited, only to find out I was going to Grand Island Bridge. So they're right over the Grand Island Bridge. So it's a small facility.
If you go over the Peace Bridge, you're in Canada.
I know that.
So, wait, all right, I'm confused. There are bases in Canada now?
Right, and they have a small facility in Sanborn, New York, and they're going to expand. That facility is at capacity now. So what they want to do is build a bigger facility in this new industrial park in Niagara County.
And that's going to be the new headquarters.
That's going to be the new headquarters.
So they're moving their headquarters from Canada to New York?
That's what he's proposing. He hasn't done that yet. He said that eventually that's what he wants to do. He thinks the United States is, great country, land of the free, that kind of stuff. He said that to me. So.
Yeah, and Canada's so repressive.
I'll just say what he said,
Isn't that, does that complicate anything now, if it's a Canadian company?
No. We have, the good thing is that they have a U.S. operations. We have a large regional bank, First Niagara is now a large regional bank, who has fully committed to the project. We actually worked with them and went through their numbers, and we have a comfort level that this is a good project. He has strong financials. If you ever meet Dean Wood, you will know he is like the smartest person in the room. But he does a good job in convincing and talking about his product. And I think he's passionate, and this is the project that everyone in Niagara County is looking for.
So we're lending to maybe a Canadian-based entity.
Yes.
Right? On the flip side, Canadian-American commerce is pretty well established. It's chasing Canadian companies is probably a lot different than other foreign entities. This is the world's largest trading partnership and well-established legal systems. I think that doesn't I mean, it just strikes me that American-Canadian commerce is pretty well treaded field.
I also think that this gives him inroads into the U.S. market, that he wants to expand that U.S. market by having, and a lot of people want to say, we want you to have a base here in the United States.
Yeah, no, I'm just wondering, I mean, Canada's probably not going to be happy that.
Well, they may or may not move their headquarters, right,
Right.
at the end of the day. It sounds like there's like a Canadian-based operation and an American.
He's doing a lot of business in Canada too. I just think he said it. It was a room full of us. He said, "Look, I might move my company over here." So everyone got excited in the room. So I just had to add it in. That he did say he may move his company over to New York State.
But it's not a condition.
No, it's not a condition. Not a condition. No.
Any other questions? Is there a motion to approve this loan?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, Ray, you're 3 for 3.
That's it.
Well, I'm not familiar
Oh,
with
for
any
me.
other. Oh, you have something else you'd like to say before we adjourn?
No, sir.
Well, you're welcome to.
No, sir.
There is one question I would like to ask, right? With all the stuff we've approved, I know at one point you were giving us some information. Has anything actually closed yet, or? have
Oh, yeah,
seen-
I can send the board a spreadsheet. We've closed in excess of $24 million over the last 12 months.
Equaling?
Closed in that they signed loan authorizations, and these projects now are coming to fruition. So we have to wait
Funded.
to be funded. They're not funded yet, but the loan authorizations have been signed, and they gave us that 1% fee, which means we expect the projects to go forward. And most of the projects are in the process of being completed or going through that process now.
Okay, so nothing's actually completed, although there are.
Two have
Which
been
one?
completed
Oh, right,
within the past 4 months.
Which ones were those?
The
Roll of Tiles.
Morola Tiles.
And
I
the
believe
Rising
Sun with the little woodworking manufacturer in Long Island.
Good. I think it might be good, maybe at maybe the next meeting, if you could just walk us through a spreadsheet,
Sure.
if that's okay.
Yeah, I
Just to
think
get an idea.
Yeah, we could get like an update at these board meetings, like where we are on some of the outstanding projects or whatnot.
That would be good.
Absolutely.
Because also, I think some of them we approved decided not to go forward, right?
No,
Actually, within the past year, I think we still have full commitments or
Right.
close to full commitments, but prior to that, there were a few that
Yeah.
fell along.
this past year,
So-
we've been really diligent about getting projects we think are coming to fruition.
Okay, great, I think that would be great if you could do that.
Better that they fall apart before we fund them than after we fund them. So,
That's a really good thing to think about, yes.
okay, is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
I guess we're adjourned. Thank you.
Great, thank you.
So I just